Minds Unchained starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I like that, man. I'm liking that. Hello. How are we doing out there today?
Hey, how y'all doing today? This is my name is Louis Denard, and I'm sitting here with
Rev Christopher.
And we're about to bring it to you tonight. I'm having technical difficulties because I didn't take off my keychain. Hold on a second.
Fighting with
Man, got it all wrapped around my headset and everything. All right, I'm back. We're back, and of course, we're black.
Thank you very much. Hey, let's dive right into this. You know, and anytime I'm excited about something, I don't like wasting time. I like to just like I said, bull in the china shop. Let's just tear it up right here, right now. Let's set the mood of where we're about to go on tonight.
Bring it.
So here's the scene. Okay, I'm at home. I'm watching a little bit of things on Facebook, and I come across this situation where some women from the NAACP were on their phones videotaping a group of kids being arrested because they're in the city of St. Paul on University Avenue with a BB gun.
Rev, that don't seem very smart to me, Rev.
With a BB gun. Now, before I get into that, let me just say a couple things here real quick. Before I get into that, Tamir Rice.
That's all you need to know. Two words.
I could stop right there, right? John Crawford. What did they have in common?
Did John have a BB gun, too?
John had a BB gun, too.
He wasn't shooting no squirrels, was he?
No, he was in Walmart, matter of fact.
That's what we used to do back in the day. Not that I'm some type of potential serial killer because I just shoot animals. I only shoot stuff that I'm going to eat.
So, at just those two alone, I think we should have learned from them.
Well, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. That's what they say.
Exactly. You got a 13-year-old little boy in a park. Now, that hurt because I was that kid too when I had a BB gun. I'm running around, we're shooting cans.
Yeah, but that's a world of difference now.
Right. You know,
police were actually people you aspired to be back then. Not that they are now, but back then, every kid had a cap gun. I had 2 6-shooters. I had my vest. I didn't have a vest. I had my little holster, my double holster, like I was a Lone Ranger or something. Right. And every kid had a cap gun.
And who didn't have a sheriff badge on?
Exactly.
I mean, I had the sheriff badge. I had the whole 9. Yeah,
but that was 1970 something versus nowadays.
That was before Hillary Clinton labeled us as super predators.
Oh yeah, that's why she didn't get my vote.
That's why she didn't get my vote. Exactly, right there. Super predator. So that's before she decided to give us a name and make the whole world believe that that's true.
Before the crime bill?
Before the crime bill jumped off. But here is what was that got me about this whole situation. Knowing how people, not only people, but the police and everyone else sees a black man with a firearm, we're going to let these kids walk down the street.
It's irresponsible. Why'd you even buy something like that for your kid?
Well, my understanding now that these kids who was holding the gun, BB gun. I mean,
now what did this BB gun look like?
I did not get to see. They didn't actually pan in on it and
did you know
showed
it was like a pistol or an AR platform?
It looked like an AR platform. Okay, but it had the orange tip.
That means nothing in a split-second decision.
Thank you very much. Now, let's say this. You got these kids, 1, 2, 3 kids, playing with this here BB gun. I got to keep saying that because they kept saying it.
Yeah.
Not that it matters. I'm going to show you that it doesn't matter if it was a BB gun, even though they kept saying it. It did not matter that it was a BB gun. But let's walk with me this for a second.
Okay.
So these kids are standing there. They got this here BB gun. Cops come up from each side. Kids don't see them, but the cops see the kid. The kid turns around real fast. Still got the BB gun up at an aim.
Bang.
Thank you very much.
That's what happens.
So now what are we doing?
Somebody's mama got a black dress. Usually.
And we marching now because we're going to call it racism.
It's not racism. That could have happened to one of us because you point something like that at me, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt. I might flinch, I might duck if you're lucky. If you're unlucky, I'll pull out my Glock 19 and I put 2 holes in your chest.
That simple.
Because I want to go home to my family just like the police officers want to go home to their families. And it's irresponsible for an adult to even give children. I could let my kids play with anything that looks like a gun over 20 years ago, well before Tamir Rice, because they're starting to make these guns that look like real guns. And it's not that they look a whole lot. These airsoft pistols, you have to look at the fine details on it to tell the difference between that and a regular pistol.
That's right.
And the last thing that looked like a pistol that I bought for one of my kids back when Nintendo had the orange and the orange gun for duck hunting and stuff like that.
Gray one.
Yep, that was it. After that, there was no guns, no toys that looked like guns in my house.
No,
because I know what's going to happen.
Exactly. So I'm going to go along with exactly what you just said. If I'm walking down the street and I've got some anyone that come at me, I'm not looking for an orange tip.
No.
I'm not sitting there going, you know what? We're not even going to have a conversation of what that is you got in your hand.
Right.
I know what a firearm look like.
Right.
So at that point in time, what am I thinking in my head? Protect myself.
Exactly. And you might not even be thinking. It might be a reflex action.
Well, yeah.
Before you even know it, you got that gun in your hand, you done squeezed off like 3 rounds.
When you train for that, that's what it is. It's a reflex action. As much as we shoot, as much as we go out, that is a reflex action.
Yeah, and it only takes like that before you pull out the gun and somebody's dead.
Real quick. So now I'm watching this thing, and I'm hearing them over and over and over and over say, but it's a BB gun. But it's a BB. See, these are people who don't understand firearms.
How far away from you before you realize this is a BB gun?
That's
you see it's a BB gun after the fact.
That's exactly what the cop said. And I would have done the same thing.
And you got to applaud the cops for having some restraint.
Oh, tell me.
Because there would have been no jury on the planet that would have convicted those guys for shooting those kids.
At all. It wouldn't even been a second thought on it. Well, this is how they got them. It was from the camera.
Okay.
So, they got them cameras.
You mean Big Brother watching us?
Yeah, in certain neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But in the rich neighborhoods.
Yeah. So so now the cops come down. The boys throw the gun over the fence.
So they had some idea what they was doing was wrong.
They had some idea. I'm not. We can sit here and do this innocent. Let's put up the baby picture if we want.
Yeah.
I don't play that.
No.
So here's the thing. So now they handcuffed the kids, which they had a right to do.
Right.
They put the kids in the back of the car, which they had a right to do. Now, why did they do that?
They don't know if it's a real gun or not.
They don't know it's a real gun.
And actually, in some cities, you can't even discharge a BB gun. Anything with compressed air, a spring, coil. Like in the city of Bloomington, airsoft, BB guns, and pellet guns are considered dangerous weapons. They're in the same category as pistols, shotguns, and rifles.
Yeah. So, but let me throw some things out here real quick. So it says under subdivision, it defines a BB gun means a device that fires or ejects a shot measured 0.18 of an inch or less than that. It doesn't. Oh, no. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. So that's what they say a BB gun is. So, and the penalty is whoever carries a BB gun, rifle, or shotgun on or about the person in a public space is guilty of a gross misdemeanor. A person under the age of 21. So, this person, I think it was Donovan, I think it was like Donovan or something like that, decided that, I'm going to do some 3-second research. So he goes through some 3-second research and he comes up with this. The felon air-powered BB gun is no firearm, a Minnesota court rule. But what he did not do, he didn't read this.
You mean he just got the caption and plastered it?
He got the caption and plastered it. That's exactly what he do. But luckily for him, we know some people who have put the whole case, what he posted, because he did not read it. Let me break this down to you. In other words, because this guy was a felon, and under that rule, because he was a felon, they did not pose this here BB gun that he had to be a firearm. Right. That did not go for these little boys.
Yeah, and initially, they ended up. Was that the same case where they had to let him off?
Yeah.
Because the definition did not fit.
Did not fit.
But in the meantime, he's harassed. He's in jail, and you missed that time in your life that you're never getting back.
That's not never going to be yours. So here's what I got for that group who don't understand things. Here's what you need to do. You need to go get the Minnesota statutes, okay? And 609-02 defines what a crime. Number one, you need to know what a crime means. Really means. Crime means conduct which is prohibited by state. That's what a crime is. When you do something, when you really do something wrong. Also, under subtitle 2. What a felony is. Subtitle 3, what a misdemeanor is. Subtitle 4, what a gross misdemeanor is. And definitely go to subtitle 6, dangerous weapons. That's what we need to do. We need to start looking at the laws before we start talking about something's racist, before we start talking about somebody's going after. Look, the boys did wrong.
Definitely did wrong.
Right? There's no doubt about this. I'm not pointing at the cops. I'm not saying the cops did this. Those cops did their job that day.
100% in the clear.
You know, and I know they kept sitting there talking about, do you know how traumatic this is? Well, you know what? I kind of blame the parents.
Yeah.
I blame the leaders in the black neighborhood for not preparing these kids when they walk out the door and into something like that.
It's like you got to. Part of being a parent is you got to look out for your kids. And, even if I didn't buy it for my kid, I see my kid with something like that, I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
You better put that down. Don't take that out of this house. And then when he leaves, I'm throwing it away.
It's like I said, I've got a BB gun that I'm teaching my grandson to be respectful of a firearm.
But you're not letting him run down the street with that firearm.
But he will never, No, Papa don't play that. Papa be popping some butt if he does something that's not right.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm teaching him to respect the firearm. We don't. How hard is it? We're the only black gun group in Minnesota. How many black people have come to us and asked us to teach a class?
Not a whole lot. I've only taught one class since I've been here in the last 3 years.
How many black people or black leaders has come and say, let's put something together and let's go in the neighborhood and let's debunk how people are looking at firearms?
Nope. Hasn't happened.
But yet, the minute something happens with firearm, the first thing we want to do is talk about how traumatic this is for the kids. Well, it was traumatic when they walk out the door.
It would have been traumatic if he caught a slug to the chest.
Thank you very much.
Somebody's mom would be all upset.
Right. And let's just say that very firearm was used in a holdup somewhere.
Right. And if you use that BB gun in such a way that you're presenting it as a real weapon, when you get charged, they consider that a real weapon. They consider that just like you had a real 9mm pistol. If you try to rob somebody with that BB gun, you get charged as if it was that.
Yeah. So I want them to go look up Minnesota versus John Fleming, and I want them to read that. It was a case that was decided in December 12, 2-6. I want you to go read that. And please, when you're reading this, what I want you to also do is read the statutes. Read what they say, how this state sees a BB gun.
Right.
This state sees a BB gun pretty much no different than a gun when it comes to you doing wrong.
Right. And, and I see it as a parent and as a grandparent. I get on my daughter because she has my grandson plays with Nerf guns and stuff like that, and I don't even want him playing with Nerf guns. And this is my I'm the granddaddy with the black and the white grandkids. So, and this is my white grandson, and I don't want him playing with anything that looks like a gun.
Well, as long as we run around. As long as I'm with him and I'm teaching him at the same time. I mean, my grandson will pick up a Nerf gun and won't even put his finger on the trigger.
Right. Oh,
I don't even have to say nothing to him.
You teaching him.
I don't have to say nothing to him at all. We'll pick it up, not even put his finger on it. That's the type of things that I'm talking about.
Right.
You have to start teaching these kids.
Well, we're too busy. We're too busy saying that we shouldn't have guns. I'm in Menards yesterday. So, I got my African American Heritage Gun Club hat on. And this black lady, is a cashier. She says, "What's that on your head?" I said, "Yeah, I'm president of a gun club." And she gives me this look. She's like, "Oh yeah, I was applying for a security guard, and they said I would need a pistol." And I said, "If I have to have a gun, I don't want the job." I'm like, "You need to worry about what's going to happen in your home. You need to protect yourself when you're not at work, or if you're not a security guard. You need to be able to protect yourself." Especially, I don't know a situation. I know she's single, married, or whatever, but you got to think of it as big picture. How you going to protect yourself? Especially when, if you live in Minneapolis, the police may or may not come.
It's that simple. At the end of the day, when it comes down to it, the bottom line that I see, the way I see things, I understand when something happens, the first thing that we say is, look, if that was us, I get it. Trust me, I've been there. I've listened to this over and over and over. But if we start changing the narrative, that we know what we're doing and we understand what's going on, we have to start changing the narrative. We can't keep letting people do it for us. Make it for. At some point in time, we've got to get to the point where we're saying, okay, enough's enough. You know what? I want to be on that side now. I've been on this side long enough.
You have to be an interested party for that to happen, though.
No.
If you just sit there and let life pass you by and just do nothing, somebody's going to write the narrative for you.
No, that's true. But I just wanted to kind of say where we're at when things happen and people get upset. It's like that young man that was in North Minneapolis that clearly had a gun in his hand. I went to the first protest for this young man, and everybody was like, oh, he didn't have a gun. He didn't have a gun. He didn't have a gun. Well, when the video came out, dude clearly had a gun. Clearly had a gun. If you got a gun in your hand and you're running from the cops, there's no reason for you to protest. There's zero reason. They said, well, they shouldn't have shot him in the back. Well, he could turn around and shoot them.
Right.
If he's running across somebody's yard and somebody running his path and he think that's a cop, what happens if he shoots that person? Because if that person spooks him.
Right. And it's just black rule number 1. If you're running from the cops, expect an ass whooping, if you're lucky.
It's that simple. It's that easy. But we need to stop this. Everything that goes on is not racially motivated. Everything that goes on isn't because the police hates us. I'm going to go out and say it just once again. Those police did their job. Whether you like they was in the back of there, and they kept saying, well, now clearly you see that it's not a firearm, that it was a BB gun. You cannot let them out.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse for breaking the law. That's what they'll say in court.
Period. I mean, it's that simple. And I'm sitting here, I'm watching this going, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Wait a minute. You guys are the president and the vice president of something, and you don't know the law.
That's because they're too busy avoiding the laws about guns, and even if you're opposed to guns, educate yourself.
Wait a minute, we gave one of them our cards.
Yeah, the one.
Have you heard?
You mean the one that says, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get my permit. And I ain't seen them or heard from them since until I ran into them, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, I'm gonna get my permit. Like, don't lie to me. Just say you're just not gonna get the permit.
That is the reason they have a job, is to promote and teach and upbring people in the black community. And when you're not doing that, this is the thing that I've been talking about. When you're not doing that, we need to stop voting for people that looks like us.
Yep.
Period.
I'd rather somebody in office is going to do the job.
Period. I don't exactly.
If you're doing the job and you look like me, that's a bonus.
And if you're doing the job and you don't look like me, you know what? Then thank you very much for doing what you're supposed to be doing. But the bottom line comes down to it, whether the kids were shaken up, you know what? At some point in time, good. I mean, I used to watch that. You ever watch that show, Scared Straight?
Oh, yeah.
With the kids? I watched that all the time.
Oh, yeah. I used to watch the old version and the new version.
Well, I was put in the back of a police car on several occasions to scare me straight.
Yeah, sometimes that's just as good as reading a book.
That's it, exactly.
The real life experiences, that leaves a mark.
Exactly. Now, I also put out there that, you know what? I would like to know who these kids are. I want to go.
Well, there may be some privacy issues because they're juveniles.
Well, I know that. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, somebody's got to teach these kids. Mm-hmm. Somebody's got to reach out and say, you know what? Let me teach your kids the law.
See, that's one of the mandates of the African American Heritage Gun Club, is to educate African American people. We educate everybody, but our primary mission is to educate our youth, is to educate people that look like us about the laws, about guns, and consequences and things, what happens, in aftermath of the shooting. How to handle yourself when you're stopped by the police at a stop and you're armed. And you're carrying. But if you stick your head in the sand and plead ignorance all the time, you're not going to do anything.
No, not at all. But we have to start getting out there and trying to make a difference. But one thing I've noticed is once people find out what we are about, what we stand for, that we believe that we have a right because of our rights that we have that comes from the 14th and the Second Amendment, I notice people start backing off.
Oh yeah, they do.
And I'm beginning to get suspicious about a few things.
Conditioning.
Number one, and number two, I think some people are getting paid to make sure
keep us scared.
Thank you very much. And not only keep us scared, but to keep them away from you and I.
Yep.
Because their narrative is to make sure that guns stay out of the black community.
Right.
That's the whole narrative.
Just like you had somebody badmouth in the club, and they said, "Oh yeah, this person." I'm like, "Well, this person has been active in the club for over 2 years. What are you talking about?" So you're making stuff up now.
All right. So I've got that feeling because I've reached out to a lot of them so-called leaders, and once I've made it very clear that I believe in protecting myself, and I do believe in the Second Amendment because of the 14th Amendment.
Yeah.
I believe that, and they kind of move back because, see, that somehow, some way, the city is giving out some money.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean that mysterious money that nobody needs to account for?
Yeah. So they got to stay away from someone like myself because I'm pushing everyone that looks like me, that even doesn't look like me, to arm themselves.
Right.
I mean, I don't see any reason why not, but, they've got in the cahoots with the mom demands who don't really care.
You mean the cookie makers?
Yeah, the every town that could care less.
They only care when there's a mass shooting and they're gonna get some publicity. They don't care when it happens. They're never on the doorsteps on Monday after there's been shootings in Chicago.
And to protect Minnesotas.
Yeah.
That's what they got because they have the money. See, I don't have the money to give them.
No.
The only thing I got to give them is knowledge and to be able to have their rights to fight for their rights. That's what I have to give you. But the dollar sign is always bigger.
Right. We can give our time. Time is important, but time only goes so far. And if it falls on deaf ears, it goes nowhere.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, I'm going to put it out there again. If you're listening to this and you know who these kids are, can you please get in touch with us? We would like to reach out to those kids and see what we can do to help them go forward in life. To help them stay out of trouble.
We'll meet with your parents. If you don't want to meet with us, we'll meet with your parents.
Yeah, exactly. Because I like I said, I'd ask someone else to do it for me. I guarantee you, I won't get that back at all.
It won't leave that person's body because they'll just nope. Okay, I'm gonna say it, and then they don't.
But in the right hands, in the wrong hands, where would I put it at? In the right, wrong, however you want to put it. I'm going to put it plain and simple. In the state of Minnesota, a BB gun is a firearm.
And it can vary a little. It can vary slightly from city to city.
There you go.
So, it's damned if you, damned if you know. So don't give your kids BB guns. It's plain simple.
Thank you much.
Let's change gears here, Rev. 'Cause I'm always on Facebook, and we always have some interesting talks on our threads. And some of the thing is like, do some of you people really know what you're saying when you say stuff to people?
No. Second thought, sorry.
Are they tone deaf?
They know what they're saying.
Some of them do, some of them don't. Some of the stuff that you say just comes out as being patently racist and offensive. You may not see it as being offensive because you're not talking about me, but the same arguments were the ones that you used 50 years ago, 30 years ago to keep us out your neighborhoods. And I know you're saying, he's playing a race card. No, I'm not playing a race card. I don't know what else to call it. When you show these pictures of immigrants and you try to say that they're rapists, the majority of them are rapists and criminals and stuff like that, and I come back at you and I say, well, not everybody that's trying to uplift themselves or live the American dream or get the opportunity is a rapist or a criminal. Maybe it's me. Maybe I have this disease, guys. It's called empathy. I have feelings. I have sympathy for these people. I have empathy for these people because they're in the same place where my people were 50 years ago when you didn't want us in your neighborhoods. My family was like one of the first waves, because my grandfather was a veteran, one of the first waves to move in Cincinnati to move out of the inner city and buy homes.
Right.
And we bought homes in neighborhoods a lot of us bought homes in neighborhoods that were predominantly white, and we watched all our white neighbors move out.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I'm glad you brought this up because I believe, and I don't, maybe no one else believed this, but I don't believe that the projects were ever built to stay there. I thought the projects
they're gone now.
Was a way to kind of build you up so you can get going. That's what we did.
Well, that's if you use it as a stepping stone. You got some people who are generational welfare recipients that, the system is a trap, for one.
Right.
It wasn't designed to make you independent. The more babies you have, the more money we'll give you. You don't have to work then. If your kids are getting a little bit older, you have more kids, you start getting that money again. The system is there to keep you there. You would figure that, I was hoping that when Clinton was going to overhaul the welfare system, that he would put stipulations in there like, so it's cheaper for us to send you to school than to take care of your kids for the next 18 years.
That's right.
But no.
He didn't do that.
It fell short. And it's just, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You have to be aware of what you're doing, and you have to be aware that some of the things that you do have repercussions somewhere down the line, just like we're trying to get this nonprofit together. And we're trying to get these kids out of the inner cities or out of bad situations, out of bad neighborhoods, out of places like North Minneapolis, and into being breaking the cycle of poverty. We're trying to get these kids into trades because right now there's a shortage of tradesmen, tradeswomen, whatever you want to call it. And they make good money.
They make real good money.
They make insanely good money. They get union benefits, and that's your ticket out of the cycle. But if you get in trouble somewhere down the line, if you get in trouble as a kid, you do something that's going to follow you into adulthood, There's not a whole lot that you can do. Some unions won't. I don't know if unions will let you in if you're a felon, or if you have a criminal record.
I never looked into that. That would be something that we should look into.
Yeah, because some people don't want to deal with you. Got a record. Some people don't want to deal with you.
But if we get them while they're young, what we're trying to do,
right?
I want to get them when they're young. I want to get them before they get to the age where they can start telling. Jay-Z said something that for a second I was kind of upset, but he was talking about the one-parent home.
Right.
How when you don't have a father in the house, someone who is the head boss, when you don't have in the house, you lose respect for a lot of things. You lose respect for a lot of people. He was talking about how, you can go up to a cop and tell a cop to, F off and all this here type of stuff. Go on about your business. You be totally disrespectful to a cop. Well, at first I was upset that he said that.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm sitting there going, there you are. You're doing the same thing I see all the time. Everybody always want to blame the father that's not in the house. But then I started thinking about it, and I started looking at some things and understanding kind of where he was coming from. He's kind of got a point. Because, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I remember when my father left, my black father left my black mother with 4 nappy-headed black children. And I remember not having someone around to tell me what to do and how cocky I got and how arrogant I got and not even going to school, not even doing anything, because I didn't have that father figure to knock me back down when things went awry.
Nobody to put that foot in that backside. Right,
exactly. So you look at the whole situation, the way what he said, he's kind of got a point. So how do we get mentors to start mentoring some of these kids who don't have a father, whose father's not even there?
They need to see other black males as positive role models. And, when your role models are pimps, drug dealers, hustlers, and stuff like that, you grew up with a warped sense of reality because that's not how the rest of the world operates. And, black men, you're responsible for your children. I'm one of those people that I'm straight. My dad wasn't around when I was a kid, but I had my grandfather, I had my grandfather's brothers. So I always had positive, I had coaches and ministers. I always had positive black role models when I was coming up. So I didn't have those problems, and plus my mom didn't play. Big Mars didn't play.
No,
my mom did not. I'm still scared of my mama.
That was my grandma.
Because you was gonna have respect in our house, and you was gonna respect. You're gonna respect your elders, you're going to respect your teachers. I was never afraid of what was going to happen to me in school if I acted a fool. But I was afraid of what was going to happen when I came home and I was acting a fool. There's going to be hell to pay.
Yeah, that was my grandma. My grandma was bigger than my grandfather. And my grandmother would take care of business like you wouldn't believe, bro. She'll tell you, it was back in the day when you had to go get your own switch.
I was glad when I got a chance to cut down a switch tree when I was a kid. I was so glad to see that thing go.
Man, we used to go out there and get one of them pubs, come back making all that noise. Man.
Did you go out there and get the littlest one?
No. I watched my cousin do that one time, and when it broke, whatever was in my grandmother's way, that's what she got.
Oh, start all over again.
I made sure she had enough to finish what she started. I went and found one of the biggest switches but when you done, no, you're not picking up no stitching cord. You're not picking up a board. You're not. No. That wasn't working around me. I'm gonna make sure you got enough to do what you need to do.
Exactly. Yeah, braid it if you have to. Some of y'all can relate to that. Some of y'all can't.
Some of y'all can't. Y'all don't know what that means when you braid 2 switches, boy. That was back in the day.
2? You need 3 to braid.
Well, no, my grandma tried. That's what I'm telling you. She was good.
Oh wow, she's a pro.
Tie that knot at the top.
Hey, whatever you got to do to make your kids be productive citizens and not be criminals. If whooping that backside keeps you out of jail, then so be it.
I say the same thing. Did I spank my kids? Yes, I did. I would rather spank them than have them dead in the street, right? Or running around in the wrong place or in jail.
I There's nothing wrong with that.
Like I said, knock on wood, God, thank you very much. You know, my two ain't running around here, getting out of prison, and I got to take care of him, felon, and all this here kind of.
No, I don't.
I'm proud. Like I said, I'm proud of my boys. I really am proud of them because their mother and I, 31 years, knock, 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 and everything has been good for right now.
Yeah, see, that's good. That's good. You're on marriage number one. I'm on marriage number two. I didn't learn my lesson. Actually, I learned my lesson the first time around, so it wasn't an issue. But I'm one of those. I'm old school. I stayed with my wife because I had a kid,
right?
And it was my obligation as a man to make sure that my child grew up with a father. So I just had to suck it up. I didn't want to be there, but I made sure that my kid grew up. I did what I had to do to make sure that my child entered the world on even footing with all the other kids.
Right.
And that was more important than individual freedom, than going out and having more kids. I had to focus on the one that I had and take care of her, make sure she comes out okay before I could do anything for myself.
Now, that's one of the really important things. And there are fathers, and let's not get this thing crooked either, because there are fathers that do for their kids. There are fathers that make sure that their kids got shoes on their feet, make sure they got clothes on their back, and and people always look at it. Oh, they deadbeat. No, if you're doing your job, you're doing the thing just for. They just don't want to be with the mother.
Yeah, but and the same token, the women can't be bitter. It didn't work out. Get over it.
Get over it.
If he want to take care of his kids, let him take care of his kids. That's his job.
No.
If he don't want to take care of his kids, which I got one of those situations. One of my daughters is she got a baby daddy, and he's worthless. He's absolutely worthless.
Right.
And I hope he hear this. We don't need you. I'm gonna take care of mine.
Right.
We always gonna have somewhere to eat. We always, we have something to eat. We always gonna have a place to stay. I'm gonna always take care of my kids and my grandkids. So kick rocks. I stole that from you, Rev. I stole Rev's rant.
There you go. Kick rocks. No, but people need to just get off of that whole because hold on. So here's another thing. I know white men who only send checks. Yes, I do.
Yes, that's better than the baby daddy that my daughter gets.
Right.
My daughter has.
I know white men that's all they do is send checks.
That check can't substitute for your.
Thank you.
Can't substitute for you being there. And I'll tell you this.
But you don't hear about that, though.
So if you out there and you're not taking care of your kids and you just sending a check, let me tell you, your kids are gonna grow up. If you're lucky, they'll grow up like me. But if they're unlucky, they'll grow up like me because they're going to harbor resentment for you the rest of their lives. They may not say it, they may not vocalize it, but they're going to harbor a resentment towards you for not being there. Mm-hmm. So if you didn't have the money, so what? Your time is more important than your money. Spend that time with your kids. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Do the best you can with what you have. But if you have money and you're just sending a check, you're just as bad as the guy who just don't show up.
Well, it's just like I was telling you what my biological father did. I would have loved to have spent time with him. Mm-hmm. We left when my mom remarried my father, my dad, the man who took care of me, and we moved to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, because I'm like a military brat. I didn't see my biological father for years.
Yeah,
not a letter, not a note, not nothing. So by the time we ended up moving back to Millington, Tennessee, which, I never forgive my mom for doing. Anyway, but by the time we moved back there, I had so much just rage in my heart for him that it just, anytime I got around him, even though I act as if I was happy to see, I wasn't. I did it because that's what I was supposed to do as a child. So when my biological father passed away, I refused to go to his funeral. I would not go to, no. I'm not traveling from North Carolina all the way to Tennessee to put this man in the ground. And he ain't never done nothing for me.
Yeah.
He ain't never talked to me, right? He ain't never talked to me. He ain't ever passed a football with me. He ain't ever thrown. He didn't teach me how to ride a bike. He didn't teach me how to. When is the last time he sent 2 dimes to you, Mom, to take care of his 4 kids, while my stepfather is the one that's busting his butt every single day to take care of his kids?
To make sure you had a place to stay, something to eat.
Yeah, that's right. So it sometimes that's all a kid wants.
Yeah.
It's for someone to, like I said, if that man would have drove from Tennessee to North Carolina and said, let's go to Burger King, even if it was for 20 minutes, that would have been the highlight.
Yeah.
The highlight of my day.
Yep.
But he couldn't do that.
He could, it's like when you have no obligation towards your kids, and I tell people this, and I say it in front of white people because I don't care. The beginning of the fall of the black community is when black men thought it was okay to impregnate women and walk away. That was the downfall of our community. That was the beginning of where we are today, because it became okay to get as many women pregnant as you can and just walk away with no obligation.
But yet, when you got the Democratic Party telling black women that, hey, here's the deal, I'll take care of you. That's been the Democratic motto for I don't know how long. You let him go. The black. It's just like on Good Times. Remember on Good Times when they was sitting there saying that you can't have a father in the house. Matter of fact, they didn't even want James Evan on the show, because that did not portray the true black living life of a family.
But what happened to the show when James left?
That's right. It went downhill when the father left. But the whole thing about it, that is the stereotype that the Hollywood and those liberals and those Democrats wanted to portray, wanted to put out there, that the black man is never around. So what do the Democrats do? Come on, lady, I'll give you a place to live. I'll give you money. I'll give you bus tokens. I'll give you everything you need.
And all you got to do is vote for me.
All you got to do is vote for me and not have that black man in the house. That there is where the downfall. And the bad, sad part about it is black men were buying into this. So I can go over there, hit it a couple times, and I'm gone.
Yep.
And now I can have 3, 4, 5, 6 women, and they will never know.
And have all them kids
that
never know each other.
So here we are running around being dogs instead of building a foundation. That's why somebody on the other night got mad at me because I said, they asked me about reparations. Uh-huh. And I said, wait a second. Making black people instant millionaires is not going to solve the problem that we have in the black community.
No, it's not.
They got mad at me and blocked me. But anyway, I'm good.
You told them to kick rocks?
No. I was good with that because I understand that mindset now. Mm-hmm. I understand that if I don't agree with you, then you just going to go on and find somebody who agree with you, and then y'all going to get together and you're going to think you're making the world, a better place, and you're not, because you're not living in reality.
They're living in their own reality.
Even though I said before on this here show here, I want a Corvette, I know I'm not getting it.
Exactly.
Because they ain't giving me a dime.
No, like I said before, if they don't want to give you money for welfare when you're hungry, they're not giving you money for nothing.
They ain't giving you nothing.
Yeah, if you believe that, I got some oceanfront property to sell you in Arizona.
Yeah, so they got mad at me and blocked me. And I'm sitting there going, first off, I don't even know you.
Yeah.
You came in on a conversation with somebody else, and then you gonna block me?
Oh, I had to block somebody last week.
For what?
They just talking crazy out the side of their neck, and I'm trying to, it was that one thread that we had. Where we were talking. I don't know if we were talking about. I think we may have been talking about guns. Oh no, it was me saying I'm not gonna let no snot-nosed punk ass kid tell me what to do about my guns and not have my guns, and she took exception to it. And she kept going on. You hit her with facts. She's one of those people that you hit them with facts, and it's like they didn't even hear it. They just keep on going. I'm like, well, this is the facts. This is the stats. This is it in front of you. But they kept going on. So what they did was, I could let that slide because people don't agree with me all the time.
Yeah.
Started trolling my post.
Oh, I love them people.
Oh, so I said, don't troll my post. That's not cool. Well, you troll mine. I said, well, I never said anything disrespectful to you on your post or anything like that. I don't agree. So I said, okay. And then I made a big picture with a meme on it. I said, bye, Felicia. And I blocked her. I let her know. Felicia's left the building.
Well, once again, that was quick.
This place is a time machine. I'm telling you, time goes fast in here.
Thank each and every one of you who will be listening to this today. And like I said before, we just want to go out and try to educate those who are uneducated on certain things. Once again, I want to say this here. I'm Reverend Christopher.
I'm Louis Denard. Peace and God bless you. Share.